Let's define what psychological fear is. I have seen that many people that are against the child free community use this tactic of psychological fear. Psychological fear is the fear of anything that is not a direct or tangible threat in your life. It is not physical. It is not something that you can see, but it's perceived threat, and probably a potential negative outcome of a decision or not knowing the what's happening in the future. The fear of the unknown. It is rooted in the mind and it can be triggered by thoughts, memories, anticipation, other people that will engage and trigger your fear based on their own experiences and their own opinions of things that they cannot even define because it has not happened yet. It is not physical yet. It is not tangible in any way. Psychological fear is usually future orientated. It's not something that is happening immediate. It's usually the fear of the future. The fear of beliefs, of past circumstances are not really what engages this fear, but rather the external circumstances that come from this fear. As much as this fear is psychological, it can manifest in a physical sense where you begin to panic. You might have anxiety or depression about the future because it's unknown. Feelings of like panic, I say, due to the brain's perception of fear. It's not that you are currently in danger. And this is what a lot of trolls like to use against us. They like to use the perception of fear, the perception of what the future holds. They don't even know themselves what their future holds, but yet they want to instill fear in other people for making a decision for their lives. Fear of failure. The fear of not achieving something or being judged for a decision or goal that you have by others. Fear of rejection, the fear of being rejected by society or not accepted into a social group. And this is what we're facing. There are many communities that are against us because we don't fit into their mold of social norms that women are required to be mothers. Therefore, we create our own communities, but because of their fear as well, that they are not part of our community, they come into our communities unprovoked to entice fear, to entice hate, to entice judgment. Understanding and addressing these fears will always be based on your self awareness and self perception. You need to understand that these fears are not necessarily coming from you in terms of what you can physically see, but it is coming from the perception that your mind has because of how the world has molded us. Maybe also because of other people's judgments. There are some women that feel fearful or scared or judged for making certain decisions in their lives, and it's not necessarily that they regret those decisions, it's that they fear what people will think about them. They fear what people will judge. But you need to combat this with being mindful, with being secure and confident in your decisions, because fear is only as powerful as you make it, especially when it's psychological. I'm not talking about physical threats or anything that could physically happen to you. Yes, in the physical, fear is very real. If you are being intimidated or in a domestic violence situation or essayed, there is a real fear and danger on your life, so you have to get out of it. But when it's psychological fear, it's all in your mind. The biggest battlefield we're all going to have is in our mind. And my book is there to help you combat that fear, to armor you, to help you be on guard on how to protect yourself, how to protect your mindset against fear that is not immediate, fear that is not tangible. It is our minds that have control about how we feel, and we are the ones that control our minds. Don't let society control how you feel because of their perception of your decision to be child free. My book will help you be more self aware, self confident, have more self respect. A lot of the times we don't even respect the decisions that we make, and a lot of people project that onto us because they don't respect their own decisions. They did not have enough boundaries and self respect to be able to combat the fear that the world is showing them. They didn't have enough self-control. Self-control and self-discipline are things that you need to work on a daily experience, on a daily thing, because when you allow yourself to slip, it takes just one encounter to make a bad decision that will change your entire life. So when you are doubting yourself, you need to reflect back on why you started. Be self-aware, understand where you're going, understand why you're going. My book 30 Plus and Child Free focuses on chapters that will help you be more confident in your decision and combat this fear, because there is definitely a sense of fear mongering against the child free community. And a lot of the reasons why people say we're going to regret our decision is based on intangible fear. You cannot tell what someone's future is going to look like. You cannot tell whether someone will be lonely or regret it just because of something that you think is something that's wrong. There might be examples of people's lives that are like this, but our lives are not the same. The very same people that come against me to tell me that lives are different, you need to understand that our lives are different. We are different people. We have different motivations. We have different purposes. Therefore, it is not fair for you to come on pages to instill fear in us because you are fearful of the future. You are projecting your fears and your regrets. You're projecting that you might be miserable in your life. Therefore, you want other people to also be miserable in their lives.